Now I know that update videos aren't for everyone and this one might come across a little bit long, but if you truly do enjoy this channel, please watch it to the end to hear all my 2021 goals and ambitions. And let's see how many of them come true. In fact, I might even review back to this video when we're just hitting 2022 and see whether my goals really were achieved. Hello and welcome back to Bug Realms. On this channel we like to discuss all things creepy crawly, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. So if you can't tell already, I am in a cracking mood. The day I'm actually filming this video is Boxing Day, or day after Christmas. So I'm really excited to go through all my goals and ambitions for 2021. But where to begin? Where to begin? There are so many. Now first things first, and this might be a little bit boring for you guys to hear, but I think it's important to state nonetheless. Book research. Book research is going to be one of my top goals this year. I received a isopod zoology book, plus I still have my Ambly Pidgey book to read through, and a little birdie has told me that I actually am going to be receiving 1 or 2 more books as late presents as well. Being locked down and all, I can't see everyone and get all presents. So my knowledge should be vastly more in the world of inverts by the end of 2021, so I am really excited to knuckle down and read those books. A second goal is to survive at least round 1 in Fatal Fangs 3. So if you're confused or you haven't been following it, Fatal Fangs 3 is going to be run by Amy from Pet Rock and Roll, well, hosted by Amy from Pet Rock and Roll. I'll be helping her with behind the scenes managing, but I'm not getting involved in anything to do with contestants or clips because I will actually be a contestant. Now, I just want to get past the round 1. Like, that's all I care about. I don't want to win Fatal Fangs 3. I think it would look bad on the franchise if I won Fatal Fangs 3. I just want to knock somebody out, just for good fun, right? Which links on to my next goal, which is better filmography for you guys. Now, my editing skills are still quite slow, and I'm never gonna have the patience or the time, I think, while I'm working full time to be able to up my editing game as such, but I can up my filming game, and I got a really wicked lens. This here is an awesome macro lens designed for, well, many cameras, but it advertised it on the actual camcorder I use. Now, I've seen this lens in the works, and if you can get it just at the right angle, you can get some really wicked shots. So my filmography hopefully is going to upgrade for you guys. So especially with smaller things, being a macro lens, I know my isopod videos aren't exciting as much to you guys. My phone keeps going off. I'm sorry. But I can, maybe if I can just kind of show you some real detail on these beautiful little gems, maybe your interests will spark. Now that is another thing I'm moving on to. Shush phone, let me mute this. For goodness sake, crying out loud. Muted. Okay, so moving on to the isopods. I now have 8 species in my collection. I think 6 have been shown so far on this channel. More will be shown over time. There was somebody who kindly asked me to do a video about calcium intake with isopods, which I do plan on doing this year. And if anyone else has any other ideas on kind of informational videos about isopods, please fire them at me and I'll aim to do a video about them. But please check through December to make sure I haven't already covered that aspect, because just repeating videos, it gets a little bit dull for the audience. Now moving on to more exciting things, at least I think it is, and I hope you guys will like it. Enclosure upgrades. Now this will be purely for show animals like my tarantulas, praying mantis, not so much for things like isopods and things that stay hidden away all the time, but most of my show animals I'm going to be upgrading most of my enclosures. So as you can see here, I had a shelf. There's nothing in these now because I've done a lot of rehousings over December. These type enclosures, nothing wrong with them. They've been practical, they've served me well, but they don't match anything else, right? I've got odds and ends of different shaped enclosures, and it drives my sort of OCD brain mad. Now, the upgrades I'm thinking about, I cannot reveal yet because I'm going to be reviewing a certain type enclosure, and I may, if I really like it, start changing and upgrading over time all to this particular brand, minus my glass ones. These are acrylic ones I'm going to be buying. The glass ones will remain because I like them. They're quite pricey and they look nice. But aside from my glass ones, I'm going to be upgrading all other tanks, I think, to these acrylic ones. And there is a few reasons for this. So reason number one, glass is heavy. When I need to pull an animal off the shelf, it's more effort than it needs to be. So if I want to take one down, film it for you guys, I know that sounds silly, but when you're hauling several tanks a week for either feeding days or filming, it really does start to put a strain on you, believe it or not. Secondly, I don't want any of my shelving to start bowing. So where I've had heavier enclosures higher up before, I have had slight bows in the shelving. It's nothing that I'm too concerned about because the bowing isn't to the point where it looks like it's going to snap, but it is weakening the shelves. So it's really important for me to get lighter enclosures on these. Thirdly, now this is just in my thoughts, right? So my disciples of the realm already know that I've been having a bit of a panic when it comes to possibly having to move house. You see, the place I live, they know I have inverts. They don't know about the T's. Naughty, I know. But I keep getting leaks in my ceiling, which is costing my landlord a lot of money. Well, I say keep, this is the second time now, but there's a big damp patch coming across my ceiling. I'm not going to show you, it's hideous, and from this wall too. And I am concerned that upon a visit they might say no more animals. I love my animals, I love my collection, I can't do that. I was concerned about having to move, but here's an idea of mine. Now, tell me what you think of this in the comments below. If everything is pretty much, if everything is pretty much symmetrical, looks pristine, flush along the tops, you know what I mean? Shelving looking professional, almost as if you are in a showroom. If you are in a zoo or a reptile centre, maybe not as flashy, but you see how all the tanks are pristine, symmetrical, beautiful together. Perhaps that professional look may deter people from thinking you shouldn't really be having these. Because it's not always about animals, guys. Sometimes it's about presentation. And if something looks messy and it's enclosed up here, down here, some are black, some are clear, some are grey, you know what I mean? It looks messy. And if something looks messy, that can put people off. If something looks really nice, really symmetrical, as I keep saying, it's nicer on the eye, it looks nice, it looks clean as well, because a lot of people that don't understand the world of inverts always think they're dirty, don't they, right? You can't tell me you haven't spoke to someone that's not into the hobby, doesn't like spiders or inverts. There's always someone, oh, they're dirty, like cockroaches are disgusting, you know what I mean? You show them in the best possible light, in these pristine conditions, or pristine looking conditions from the outside as well as the inside, people are less likely to think that. And that's my thought process in this. You guys let me know yours. Again, I will talk about that brand when it comes to the review of that brand. But the ones I'm going for, they are pretty much crystal clear nearly the entire way round, minus corners. So you might already be able to guess with that. So I'm really, really excited to try this brand out, and I am willing to start popping my money directly at these enclosures to make everything match up. We're going to get rid of 90% of milky enclosures, so even little ones like this, see, these were from the spider shop, really, really, really handy, but they are still milky. A lot of people love these, right? But if I were to move on to a comparison now, you see the difference in clarity? So this is a pure acrylic enclosure, kind of similar to what the ones I'm going to be getting are. Not the same brand, not the same style, but the same clarity. You can see the difference straight away, right? So this is one reason why I want to do that. I want to clear up the mess. I want everything looking fantastic. Now, it doesn't benefit the animal particularly in any way. but it will benefit me, it will benefit you as viewers, and it will certainly benefit my chances of keeping and continuing this collection within this home, because it is proper stressing me out with the worries of having to go somewhere else. It really is. I've moved too many times in my life. So now we've talked about all of that, what else is there for 2021? Over here I have a balfouri communal. I very rarely show this. The balfouri tend to only come out a couple at a time. There's 5 in here. They don't actually do that much for me to film. The original setup for this ended up getting corrupted on a memory card, or I deleted it or something like that, so we never saw the build of this, and I never show it off because there's not enough going on in here. There really isn't. But there is one more communal I want to try, and that is the hvillacella communal. Now I know that some people have really made this work for generations, not just as a one-off, for generations, but I also know of others that have failed them. So that is a communal that I would absolutely adore, because hvillacella is probably one of the Africans I absolutely love. So talking of Africans, I'm going to be cutting down certain chunks of my collection. You'll see where this relates in a minute. And don't panic, I'm going to actually be selling off certain tarantulas. And this is because I've learnt my tastes over time. I've learnt which ones I really love keeping and which ones I don't get much enjoyment from. But other keepers would get enjoyment from them. So I think it's more fair on myself, on the animal, and on that keeper for it to go to somebody that will have more enjoyment. So where I'm going to be selling off some, it's only then to free the space for me to get into things that I know I enjoy. Now I mention Africans, that's because I'll be honest with you guys, they really kind of bore me. Now don't hate on me, you know, all personal preference here. I love my hvillacella, I love my darlingy adult female I've got up here. And I do like my balfouri. I think they're well overrated. There's too much hype about them. I know that's going to get me in trouble. I don't dislike them, but they don't do enough for me. So, oh, of course I've got OBT slings as well. I can't not have an OBT. So there is still a bunch of Africans I'm keeping, but as a whole, I'm not really going to be collecting any more African species, at least not yet. Asian species, I want to get into kilabrachis again. I absolutely love that genus as a whole. Although the genus is a mess, I love it. Attitudey spiders, tricky spiders, they are tricksters. I don't know if anyone's seen my old video where one of them played along as if it was almost docile, and then poof, it was gone under my shelves, rearing up, angry. But when I first got into keeping that one, I don't think I was quite ready for that type of animal. And now I feel completely ready. So I really want to start getting into the kilabrachis genus. Now I'm not a fan of fossorial normally, but with kilabrachis, although they are kind of fossorial, they're sort of semi-terrestrial fossorial. I've watched a lot of videos of them in a lot shallower areas, you know, between roots and things, and also Gar did a video for the spider shop which he kind of explained it a little bit better than I just have, and I feel a lot better about keeping them there. They're maybe fossorial, but they're out a little bit more, they make beautiful webbing. And the last way I kept one, I kept it sort of deeper substrate, but not as deep as you would for something like an oreo tibialis, for example. And that animal was absolutely fine in there. When it came to feeding days, watering days, I never got threat postures or anything once it settled. So I must have been keeping that one okay. But aside from them, I'm going to be steering completely away from fossorial tarantulas as a whole. New worlds, I've got this thing for messy genus, right? I want to try a few more Panthobeteus. I want to try a few more Phimictopus. I've really started getting into Phimictopus. Maybe Megaphobema. There's quite a few New World tarantulas, mostly terrestrial, that I want to get into. Arboreal wise, Salmopius, I want to finish collecting that genus. I'm actually going to be getting an adult female polka soon, which is already paid for. We're just waiting for this whole Christmas, New Year, January sales type start to die down, so that it won't get lost in the postal service. So that's kind of all I need to say in regards to the spiders, really. New enclosures, selling some on to make room for others. Also expect to see some rarer and possibly more expensive tarantulas on this channel, and the reason being is there's quite a few that I've seen over the course of a few years that I would really love to have, not because of their price tag, not because of rarity, because I want to keep them. And I avoid it most of the time because I'm afraid that animal will die, because there's a lot less care information out there for that animal. I like to do quite a bit of research on my care information. When there's less available, I panic. But you know what? I think I've got to the stage where I'm confident to be able to adjust it accordingly upon the behaviours of the animal. So I feel more confident about getting some of these slightly less common and more expensive tarantulas in the collection. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Now, I know a bunch of you joined me for phasmids. Now, I'm only keeping 3 species at the moment. I cut right back, and in springtime I might get a couple more, but I'm actually starting to lay off them for a little bit. I don't want to keep any more than, say, 5 species at a time, because the bramble collection got a bit much for me, especially with full-time work and doing 2 videos a week. So I'm going to cut back to a reasonable amount where the food plants are a lot easier to get hold of in smaller quantities. But as they do grow, and then their offspring grows, I'll probably sell on or pass on the offspring, which will then leave me empty tank for a new species. So we will still be having different species. It will just take a bit longer for us to get them and to raise them for the channel. That's all. And I don't think there's much more I really want to say about these goals. Merchandising goals as well. I am looking to do a whole new line of all things creepy crawly merchandise. I'm just tweaking with it till I get it right. Once it's right, if I can afford to, I might send a couple out to people if they're willing to model in them for me. Not like professionally, but just, you know, just wear them, show them off for me, so I can put them like on a website or things, so that you can see real people wearing this merchandise rather than it being models that companies have just stuck that t-shirt design over the top of. You know, I'd quite like real people to do that for me. So I might be able to get a few of them out for free. If you are interested in modelling all things creepy crawly merchandise, just comment it below on this video. I can then scroll back to this later in the year when I do decide to release this merchandise. Oh, one more thing regarding teas as well. I'm actually going to cut down on what slings I get, which means you'll see a lot less things like mystery boxes and stuff from this channel. My enjoyment of sling keeping has highly shrunk over this time period. Juveniles I love, grown on slings I love. But these Diddy 0.5 to 1 centimeters, they're getting a little bit of a handful. I'm getting less enjoyment from keeping them. And obviously they take so long to grow. So, I mean, I'll keep the majority of slings I've got, but I will be passing some of those on as well, or selling some of those. We're going to start working from kind of juveniles up, unless it's a species I can't find anywhere else other than as a sling. That will be the only times I'm going to go into sling keeping. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up now. Thank you very much for watching, and a happy new year to everybody. 2021, let's try and make it as good as we can. I mean, 2020 was a write-off, right? 2021, maybe this can be our year. We'll soon find out though, won't we? Massive thanks to everybody that's been supporting my channel, and a huge thank you to all my disciples of the realm, my financial supporters. You guys have really made the difference for me. So that's it. This is a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye bye. Do you guys want to see what else dwells in the realm? If so, make sure to pop back weekly for multiple videos. My usual upload days are Wednesdays and Sundays, so I'll see you guys there. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to become a disciple of the realm and have your name shown on the screen like these lovely people, you can do so in one of 2 ways. You can scroll down the screen now and hit that join button next to the subscribe to be a channel member. or alternatively, you can follow my link in the description below to my Patreon page. Both methods grants you access to my private Facebook page, where we like to discuss even more things creepy crawly. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.